Your artist reporter in a time of geopolitical uncertainty. Artist Journal, October 28th, 2022, Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and I am taking names. Many names. Maybe your name, dear watcher. Maybe you will show up and be a contestant on this week's episode. Welcome back. We have a beautiful new work here by Myth. It looks like he's just having fun. It sold in 4 minutes to our anonymous collector, the one that Rat Cloak C had pointed out, highlighted a week ago. And so that person, that collector, is on the march here. Mythophrenia is the name of the title, is the title of the work. And you can tell Myth's just having fun here. You know, I was trying to figure out, what do you call this? I mean, they called Basquiat a neo-expressionist. Most artists get really annoyed, actually. Like, some of the pop artists didn't like being called pop artists. You know, so I think abstract expressionism, all of a sudden you get categorized. So, but as, you know, I understand that, but sometimes as collectors, and if we're just in our analysis mode, it is the rise of the artist collector right now in a way that's never been truer than it is today. And we've discussed that in the past. But lest we get off topic, yes, but when we put on our collector's hat, sometimes we want to analyze here and kind of put them into categories. So anyways, point being, though, we have all of Myth's favorite themes here. We have Mike Tyson, lemon head guy, banana guy, intense eyes, and then we even have the red eyes here, Joe Rogan's dad, all of it. So a classic work. And again, let me just show you the anonymous collectors. Look at what they're doing here. So getting a bunch of grails like this one of my favorite NFTs of all time. This is where I discovered Rat Cloak C. I saw this work on Twitter. For those that haven't seen it, I mean, again, I'm trying to shorten these episodes here, but if you haven't seen this, you must. Hopefully this doesn't kill my mic. It happened a couple of times here. Okay, so we're in kind of V3 of this episode here. Look at this work if you've never seen it. We've looked at it before. This was my introduction to Rat Cloak C on Twitter. So yeah, so grails like that, this fantastic, probably my favorite Bazaya work here. This religious figure with face tattoos, just an awesome work. So anyway, that person is on the march and they are willing to drop coin, and they want these basically figurative works, these figurative grails on Tezos. So very interesting. Paid $110 for this Sumi work just a couple of days ago. $110 for this edition of 11. Probably her most iconic work. You could put that on the poster of a group show and everybody would be happy. Continuing on, just a few comments I want to dash through here. Love your pieces, Beach and Desert. This is from Luis Lantigua. I will cherish those two pieces. Thank you. And those are two of my favorite 8-bit nature works. Gucci Cadillac. So from the Bazaya work yesterday, Gucci Cadillac is a 1985 Cadillac Seville. So that is helpful. In my opinion, top 10 weirdest automotive designs. So we're going to take another very quick look at that work here. And also shout out to Vito. Thanks for the mention. Thank you. Awesome works, and looking forward to more of he does the Nintendo Glitch ROM series, a Nintendo Glitch artist, among other things, I think. He's looking to experiment more too. I really think the Nintendo Glitch ROM stuff can be pushed in a million different directions. I can't wait to load it up myself. I bought like a €200 PC because I don't know how to do it on Mac. Maybe some of you do, and I don't want to set up some emulator, PC emulator thing. Anyways, if you guys know actually how to do it on Mac, let me know. But I got like a cheap PC just so I could do the Nintendo Glitch ROM stuff. It's been sitting there for like 4 months. So great, good intentions. Maybe I just need to finish a few of my other series first. Wes Anderson is the director. Now, this brings up another thing that I want to get to right away here, and actually Bazaya mentioned that as well. Wes Anderson, Grand Hotel Budapest. And if you check, there's a window that says Pocobelli. So first of all, I just wanted to show you, remember how I said that director curated, Wes Anderson? So I was in Milan maybe 3 years ago, I think it was 2019, and I was just there with my girlfriend for the weekend, and they had this show right here. And it was an awesome show at Fondazione Prada. So if you want like a pretty stylish afternoon, we didn't go to Milan for this show, it just happened to be there. That's the great thing about these European cities. You just show up and there's going to be some like totally cool thing going on usually. You just show up to Milan and there's Wes Anderson at Fondazione Prada. So that was a pretty cool afternoon. This is the show. And so you see a lot of kind of random objects, weird paintings. It was very much in the spirit of Wes Anderson. So really cool. I guess the cafe is designed by Wes Anderson too. I didn't realize it. This is the cafe, Bar Luce, inside Fondazione Prada. So if you're looking for a pretty hip afternoon, do go to, I guess this show's over, but you can always see what else they have going on. This was a particularly memorable show, I think. It's the only time I ever went to Fondazione Prada. Here is the page. I brought it up. And so, yeah, I guess it was, so I went in, I think, October 2019. Doesn't seem like that long ago. And funny, actually, side note here, this picture here that you see of me, that was actually taken in the courtyard of Fondazione Prada with my kind of cheesy grin there. My girlfriend took that, and it was a beautiful day, a very beautiful day. So just a little side note there. Oh, and let's not miss... So yeah, so you can see here, they talk about the show. And there's Bar Luce, which was designed by Wes Anderson. So I learned stuff as I do this show with you guys here. Designed by American film director Wes Anderson in 2015, it recreates the atmosphere of a typical Milanese cafe. And so, yeah, we had a coffee there. That is the place. And I didn't realize that he had such a hand. It's pretty cool. It's like a 1950s Italian cafe. Excuse me. So continuing on, here is the work by Baziah. So thank you, Baziah, for the shout out. Written into history here. So I'm over here. I brought up, so you can see there's Daniel W's. There's all sorts of people here. I think that's Purple Drank. And I am below myth here, Pocobelli. So hilarious. Written into history. So thank you, Baziah. Continuing on. Zala. Remember we were talking about Zala just like a couple of days ago and pointing out the new digital tools, the digital experimentation. Digital expressionism is what Zala was calling it. Zala is on the front page of Foundation. So another artist that we've been discussing on the front page, Creative Symbolism is the name of the work, or is this the series? Her physical works, I think it's a her, as NFTs. So it's on the curated collections. So that is super cool. So this work came out and was sold. Seems like they had a bit of issues here. This Die with the Most Likes work with Xerox. And you see it all went for 200 to 356. But then I think they probably took a screenshot at like on the top of the hour. And then you see this, all these offers were like higher. And I saw Die with the Most Likes. It sounds like it kind of went a little haywire. It's very tricky to do these kind of like timed best offer auctions when you have people, running in here. 444. So the highest ones weren't necessarily taken because of the time, and they probably screenshotted what they saw at the top of the hour. Anyway, you got to feel for the artists, but not too much because they made a fortune here. Edition of 10. Yeah, so everybody, I think it's all good. And look at this brushwork we were pointing out, and Xerox. I guess it might be done physically, because look, he's got this beautiful brush. It looks, so Xerox looks like he's working physically and mixing physical with digital. So traveling through the mediums, very, very interesting. And look, it's just interesting. Did he Xerox this? Like, it looks like a black and white copy of that work. So just kind of interesting. And then did he like put this into Photoshop and magic wand or sample this part? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's a big fake out and it was all done digitally. This is interesting. So Limbo, good morning with some incredible news. It's with infinite joy that I announce I am now a Nifty Gateway publisher. I'll be curating my own drops and the drops of artists I love. More news soon. So totally earned. First of all, Limbo is one of my favorite curators, actually. Just go to his collection if you're ever looking for interesting things. So I went to the page, but look at this. Introducing publishers. Publish your own NFT drops on Nifty Gateway. Learn more, become a publisher. So it sounds like a lot of us can do this if we want, or at least apply. So just a heads up there. Because how cool is that? I mean, Nifty Gateway is sort of like a bit of a walled garden for a lot of artists. So they are getting a little more user-friendly from the individual artist's perspective, so there could be an opportunity for you there. Ondi sent me this a couple of days ago. There's so much going on. Last episode was 42 minutes. I'm trying to shorten these guys, but there's a lot to go through. There is 9Badoo. We all know 8Badoo, and 9Badoo, what it does is animates. You can put animated works. Now, I'm not sure if it's how many pixels per because I think 8Badoo, it's 8 square pixels, or at least they have different ones, but it's animated is the thing. So Mint animation, so that's 9badoo.com. Double check everything, because I've never used it, and double check make sure that's all legit and everything. I haven't used it yet, but you always want to be careful what you attach your wallet to. So continuing on, Louis Osborne is back on Object here on Tezos and had a pretty big sale of these 4 portraits, what he calls person. This was a really nice one, I thought. This sold for 669 Tezos. And here it is, the scenes. I'm absolutely speechless. Massive thanks to everyone who bid on these. The bidding wars were insane. So doing very well here. These are one of ones, person 1, 2, 3, and 4. He could do portraits, but it would be hard. Like if you're doing my portrait on this, I don't know how you'd do it, but it's always interesting, the portrait business, because it can be quite lucrative. These are just anonymous people, from what I can tell. The next set of 4 will be released in a few weeks. Cheers, y'all. So very cool. So Louis Osborne continues to do very well. This Adelia work I missed. I love this work. Edition of 20. And there is Super Mario 3, I believe. That is, to me, the most iconic Super Mario Brothers. It is the most beautiful Mario Brothers visually, which for me is like the most important thing. And there it looks like Adelia's main character playing and having fun. And this is just awesome. All of it. It is awesome. So heads up on that one. Always a huge fan. Game time fun. And yeah, this came out, what did it, accept offers are 6, so that's what it went out for. Again, I think you have to be in her Discord in order to get the heads up there. So FYI, it's too much for me to track, so I'll just show up later and decide then. A beautiful work by Rat Cloak. I'm not sure if he's watching the show here. I assume he's been a long time, actually a big supporter of this program. Probably a lot of the reason it's kind of gotten out there is his retweets, because he has quite an audience. And so him retweeting the show, like 2 months ago was hugely helpful, consistently. So that was super appreciated. New painting, Fake Bacon. So kind of his portrait series, he's playing with space here and doing his trade. I mean, it's definitely his own stuff here. It's not just a tribute to Bacon. Let's just zoom in here because he's got the 3 or 4 legs. Very interesting brushwork. I wonder what he's working in. Like, is this a phone work or is this Procreate? Is this on a laptop? Hard to say. Look at how well he does this too. So a very nice digital tribute to Bacon, to Francis Bacon? I'm forgetting Bacon's first name. I think it's Francis Bacon, of course. So very nice work here. And so interesting brush, hey? So yeah, always experimenting over here, Rat Cloak. Very, very interesting. It's going to be amazing to see where Rat Cloak is in like 5 years as an artist. It could be just like if he keeps just like experimenting and stretching his horizons, could be interesting. Super rare posted this, and I thought, oh, this kind of goes with our bacon theme here. Unfortunately, it might be a little small for you, but it kind of just has a bacon feel. Who's the name of this artist? Gavin Mealer. So this was available on Super Rare. Original owner of this piece can claim a physical concept sketch of this piece. So that's another take on combining digital and physical, is if you have concept sketches that you're doing physically. So I kind of like these ideas. Again, it was Gabby Walter who sold that Mona Lisa and basically used the digital marketplace to sell a physical painting. I thought that was brilliant, because otherwise, where are you going to put it? On Saatchi Art and then get drowned out, right? Like, and that's complicated. Here, it's just like, you want to buy it from me? Here's the NFT, and I'll send it to you. Very cool. Continuing on, Greco. Greco has another psychiatric scene. La Oveja Dolly. Dolly the sheep was the first mammal cloned from an adult cell. I remember that. So a digital painting, I believe, almost looks like there's texture there, but some of these digital painting tools can give you texture. So a sheep's head. So kind of a creepy series, kind of works well with Halloween. Digital painting, indeed. You can buy it on secondary for $10.99. Tezos. Sold out pretty quickly for $5. Sold out in half an hour for $5 to all of our favorite collectors here. All of our favorite people. And so cool work from El Greco, or from Greco. Greco, not El Greco. That's someone else. Rustic with a work in progress. So on our digital painting front here, I thought this was just interesting. So not sure, this looks like, I think you'd call this an arcade, where you have all these arches, kind of like an Italian piazza, square, an Italian square, that kind of style. That looks like Rat Cloaksy there, and that almost looks like a brown myth, lemon head, a brown lemon. Interesting. So heads up, new work from Rustic. And continuing on, Dexter, another kind of digital painting work. And so this is of a sunset, and you can see the water moving. Again, that natural contrast between part of it moving and the rest being still, it kind of feels like a Dexter innovation, and I'm sure someone's done that before, but he's kind of like the guy I think of. Fisherman. Continuing on, another work by Yuri J. So Yuri J has been posting on Super Rare and doing quite well. Now Yuri J is just put out an edition on Object, so that's fun. So the kind of an abstract work, clicking and dragging the sample through, a little bit of repetition. So just a very interesting experimentalist here, abstract digital painter with some representational in the mix. So I love the experimentation. I love it. Fast and Furious. That's probably what was, what is this, 42? Roman numerals here. You subtract 10 from 50. So that looks like 42. Fast and Furious, 42. Sold for 10. And editions, there are 11 editions. Looks like only one was for sale. I don't know. So you'll have to figure that one out as far as buying it, but just interesting work as usual by Yuri J. Look at this. Dan Control puts out Ronald McDonald, and that looks great. He put this one out on Foundation at a reserve of 0.4. I love how he puts the description. Ronald McDonald is a clown character used as the primary mascot of the McDonald's fast food restaurant chain. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. So anyways, a great work, though. I love the decision to use Ronald McDonald running. I'm sure that will sell. And also another work by Dan Control, celebrating the season. You can buy it for a Tezos 50. I picked this one up. Pumpkin. And using his kind of trademark gradient style that he manages to make look good, right? That's the challenge of using those gradients. That's why nobody uses them, because they're hard to make look good. And Dan Control has turned it into a whole kind of style, a whole series. And he does it brilliantly. So good for him. Tezos 50. Oh, look who's back. Ellie Lowe is back. Let's just see what is going on here. If it plays, let's try this again. Very cool. I'm so thrilled I can buy these. You know, it costed 60 Tezos cents, like $1. Buy it for $1. And buy it while you can, because they might get burned soon. I think LA Low does do that sometimes. So heads up on that one. I guess just a Halloween store. You can't really beat that price for that crazy of the work. I love the kind of glitchy stuff in the middle. And a lot of work into audio and everything. Just great. New work by Geek. A little kind of ominous. You will die. So stay strong, Geek. If anybody out there, just remember, as someone who's 43, bad times pass. Okay, in case there's any issue there. Otherwise, just a cool work. What I love about Geek's work. This was similar to like Modem. It's the perspective, the frame, the view of the artist is what you're seeing here, and you will die, right? So it's like you're getting that message, you're experiencing getting that message. And so it reminds me of Modem at the border crossing or at the border booth or whatever. And you could see there's a guy giving the finger and you could see it was from the perspective of the artist. And I just find that's interesting. It's something you don't actually see that often. This is a draw of a photo taken by, I think that's Myth, taken by Myth. So interesting. Buy for 3. Edition of 10, there are 9 left. This was interesting as well, a commission to NSF World. And so, yeah, just a work by the Myth, one of these pixelated works. And now I think NSF is actually a huge supporter of this program, and that is super appreciated. So now you'll see in NSF's Twitter profile, you will see this work by the Myth, this pixelated work. So super cool. A portrait, a commissioned portrait. So a very nice business. Continuing on. Michael Micasso, our very talented pixel artist here, looks like he is collaborating with Ice Rain to make a series on effects hash. How cool is that? So very curious to see where this goes. So just FYI on that. And also a work in progress. Look at how beautiful. Again, working in Acebrite. And there's not enough time in the day because I'd love to just spend like days on end in Acebrite. Look at this. I love this over here. And this beautiful winter scene. I think mech.txt could just make a business of selling like, flowers and landscapes, or more of these landscapes. Just these pixelated landscapes are just gorgeous. And you know what I would do if I was friends with Michael Micasso, or if I was Michael Micasso? There's not many colors in, say, like if you just had this piece here, there's 1, 2, 3 colors. You can screen print this thing. Learn how to screen print, or maybe you already know how, and then you make that as a screen print. That, my friends, would be gorgeous. And you would just sell those like nobody's business. Sell it on Object, probably. Again, Sad Girl I discovered from Limbo. Awesome artist that I happily follow here. I should pick this up. So Sad Girl. Neon Genesis Evangelion. That sounds like a manga that I used to read in the 90s. And so that looks like maybe it's the character and just a glitched out version. Buy for $6.50. Is that the mint price? The mint price was $3.33, so if you want it now, pay $6.50. Pretty reasonable, if you ask me. Françoise Gamma. Looks like Françoise Gamma is reducing the pixelation, like reducing the size of the work. So we're getting increasingly pixelated works here. So very interesting to see how the aesthetic changes, and it's just as delightful, but different. There's my dishwasher finishing, and continuing on. Look at this. I picked this one up. Another work by Françoise Gamma. 3 Tezos. I mean, so for $5 less. Did it stop? Okay, it's still going. So kind of a vague play on Vesuvian Man by Leonardo, right? I like how it kind of goes into this almost anatomical business over here. Just really cool. I love this work, so I picked that up. Again, in the museum of my mind, I just think, oh, that would look great. Kurt Hustle Collective, Kurt Hustle Casino. So this, I don't know if you can still buy this. It may have sold out. Or no, sorry, this was just sent out to people. And maybe that's So I'm not sure what's going on. As usual, always up to something, the Kurt Hustle Collective. And this ticket of 100 ecstasy, 100 Tezos plaque. So who knows what's going on here. Always plays with the mechanics of NFT drops. So I'm a big fan of Kurt Hustle Collective. And they put out a new slum. Let's just read this. With the growing interest rates in metaverse property, the underworld of the web is being pushed to the outer edges of internet society. This is the cyber slums, a place in the wild to build your broken fortunes. And there we see a classic ad by Kurt Hustle Collective on the TV there. And so there is the tent, the slums, the digital slums, the internet slums. So another cool work. And this was interesting. This was a one of one, and it sold for 52. It looks like it was canceled the listing, and maybe unknown collector put in an offer right away. So a KHC one of one. LB has a new work, just kind of interesting video work. So always worth paying attention to here. It almost looks like one of those 1920s actors. Glitched out. Continuing on. And Sabato's Echo Project. Very interesting minimal work. This is water. So this just feels good. This would look great projected really big on a wall. Very cool. I rented a movie theater. It's at the back of a bar, Z Bar in Berlin, if you know that. My friend Constantine. I was actually going to show you that gallery shut down. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I have pictures actually of the final show at Fata Morgana, which I wanted to show. That was about a week ago. So anyways, this would look great on a movie theater screen, hey? Continuing on. Ondi, who recommended something we mentioned earlier here, and another big supporter of the program, making great memes, has some works that are on object, so some nice abstract works that are geometric abstraction. So very cool. You can see here, the link is below. So I'm not sure if Ondi is a guy or a girl. Ondi is taking offers. So go check that out. And a really nice circular minimal work here. Thank you, Ondi, for everything. And also, if you're into abstract minimalism, Max Drecker had this out. And so I thought this kind of paired nicely. You could put them in the same room together. Max Drecker and Ondi, good night. So I assume that's a new work by Max Drecker. Continuing on, a new work by Turamza. Guys, this is like the last 24 hours. Like, this is what's so wild about all this. I'm trying to keep these episodes short. New work by Turamza. Looks like Leda and, what is it called? Leda's Heel and the Black Swan. So referring to Leda and the Swan, so a myth, Greek myth, Zeus and Leda. I think she was turned into a swan, and then Zeus mated with the swan. And so there is the shoe, I guess, remaining, and turned into a black swan in Turamza's painting. So beautiful digital painting here. Only 7.25 Tezos. So pretty reasonably priced. Moat.mt, Taming the Great Bear, digital painting. And there's Skeletor. So la creme de la creme. So if you have a Drunk DAO or a purple Drank DAO token, if you have the right one, you get this for free. So Purple Drank has been promoting that. So if you go to his Twitter feed, you'll see what you need to buy in order to get these drops. There was a Minta drop just yesterday, I think. So a beautiful digital painting. That was collected by the anonymous collector, by the way. So just a FYI there. This was found by Uda Gallery or Uda Museum, and I thought this was just interesting. Kind of had that Bacon feel that we've been discussing the last couple of days, the Francis Bacon feel. This is AI, as far as I understand. And what was the name of the artist here? Indy Sulta. So again, Uda Museum tweeted this one out, and I thought a really nice work. Again, kind of has a Francis Bacon feel to it. So it's just interesting that we're kind of running into that theme. Shows how sophisticated, frankly, this art scene is. So into AI, more AI work. So Hannibal, whose work we haven't looked at for a while, Existential Crisis. So here's the latest work from Hannibal. And I think this is AI. And you see, kind of has a Halloween feeling to it. So interesting. Is this available? Editions 5, sold out for 5 Tezos a piece. And continuing on, Badala NFT. So I think these are AI, but I don't know. 2 XTZ each. Let's see if we can figure this out. Should it load? Should it not kill my mic again? This is a very risky thing I'm doing right here. Day. So this is beautiful. Does it say AI? So I'm not sure it's AI. They don't say so. So maybe it's just a beautiful, digital painting of sorts. But it's tempting to think. This is another one that I just came across on Twitter, and I don't know what to make. Shane Gilreath. I couldn't find the Art of Haiku collection. And these I was also tempted to think are AI. It's kind of funny how I don't know, right? Maybe they're like, it looks like, I don't know what this is. It looks like historical prints, but are these new? Are these new versions? Are these AI? It's very tempting to think. Like, that's how wild this AI thing is getting. We're just not going to be able to tell, perhaps at a certain point. So who knows if that's AI? Speaking of AI, so there's more. 0009 we know is AI with other stuff, I think, actually. And so just a really cool work by 0009, who seems to be doing very well. And Charles AI, whose work we've been following, is doing very well. So a prominent AI artist here, sold out on known origin, all 45 pieces in 3 weeks. So a nice business. And Charles AI just got onto Super Rare. A ton of people have been getting onto Super Rare. I feel for the artists that are applying. Like, I know Bazaya applied, and so make sure, like, if you see Anne Loramy, like, tag Bazaya or something. Tag your favorite Bazaya work. Like, people are trying to get on, and it must be hard to be on the sidelines seeing all these people getting on. So support your favorite artists. Tell Super Rare to get them on. That stuff helps. It matters. Fractured Museum. And this went to Cosimo de' Medici for 0.75. And so anyways, his Genesis, Charles AI's Genesis, selling to a prominent collector on Ethereum there. And finally, Clown Vamp is wrapping up the Choose Your Own Adventure. Sunday is the final burn deadline for Detective Jack, the Choose Your Own Adventure murder mystery. 223 of 229 players have stayed up to date. Monday, detectives will receive one of 16 final pages. Some will solve the mystery, some will end in chaos. So interesting. And also kind of a visual novel. And also, this was just interesting. Soe Turamsa, whose work we look at every so often, it's just interesting to see people are starting to mint essays on that art platform, on that text art platform. So is it type.art? Right? And on Tezos. So I've seen this more and more. Someone also sent me an essay, and I think it was a different one. And they're like, hey, check out this essay. And it was on type.art. Makes me think I should put some essays on type.art just for the hell of it. And maybe it'll keep it, maybe if Medium disappears, type.art, it's on the blockchain. So maybe there's a better chance that it survives any geopolitical uncertainty. Finally, a physical NFT from, I believe this is Working Class, by Working Class with acrylic on 300-gram paper, commissioned by Drank DAO. So very cool. A physical NFT as a physical work as an NFT. I love the Casio balloon. I can't remember what you call those things. There's a word for it. Anyways, hilarious. And the McDonald's and Pepe's, all your favorite memes. And the purple drank. Of course, the purple drank there. So that, my friends, is your show. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.